Hey everyone, before we start the show, I just want to get some plugs out of the way. If you enjoy this podcast and you're into wrestling, check out the Nerds and Marks podcast or Marty and Sarah Love Wrestling. If you're not getting your fill on movie and entertainment discussion, then check out the Entertainment Buffet podcast. If you want to dive into the world of video games, I highly recommend the Darkcast by my friends over at darkstation.com. Listen to them cover important topics and interview men and women from all over the industry. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show. Hello everyone and welcome to Shelved. I am your host, Jeremy Meyer. It's probably been a month since I've posted an episode, maybe a little more. I just wanted to apologize about that, and basically this is my hey, I'm not dead episode. To sum it up, there's just been a lot of stuff in my personal life that has kind of prevented me from being able to produce a full episode. I've been wanting to squeeze in some small little things here, but haven't really had much to say, as in I haven't seen any movies. I haven't really been getting a lot of stuff done, movie related, podcast related in my life, just because in my personal life, at my day job, we had a big sale and that sucked up a lot of time, and then after that I had some stuff going on, and then there was like a small 2-week period where we were kind of slow at work, but I was doing my stuff, and then work kind of picked back up again. So it's kind of just been a crazy hectic schedule. I've been reading through a script that I was hoping to have posted when Avengers came out, and so I can just tell you my next 2 scripts are going to be Iron Man, an Iron Man script from, I believe, 2004, and then the Jurassic Park 4 script, since Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom is coming out, which, surprisingly, I'm hearing is pretty good, even though those trailers look kind of dumb to me. But yeah, so I just haven't had a lot of time to get through any of these scripts. So it's going to be a little while before the next episode gets up, but I just wanted to put something out there to let everyone know, hey, I am still alive. So I grabbed my recorder. I'm driving to work right now. So doing a little car cast just to kind of get the word out that, things are in motion. I've also been putting together a list for some exclusive content that I'm going to be working on. So all this downtime, I have been trying to come up with content for the podcast, some ideas for some future episodes. I recently made a new friend through Twitter who was able to share a bunch of scripts with me. I honestly haven't really gotten his name, but he hosts the Screenplay Archaeology podcast that you can find on iTunes and SoundCloud and stuff like that. So be sure to check it out. He recently put out a long, 6-hour podcast on all of the different drafts of Alien 3, because there's a million different drafts of that. So go check that out. It was a huge endeavor for him, and looks like it paid off. So I just want to steer people that way. Also going to take this time to point out that a friend of the pod, Brandon Prosick, is also running some plays in the Chicago area at Stage 773. So if you're in the area, the show is called Out of This World, and this is going up June 13th, and the first show is tomorrow, June 14th. So we got the 14th and the 21st, and then we have June 17th and the 24th. So it's a variety show. I believe it's probably more comedic leaning, but it's sci-fi stories, comedy. That's why it's called Out of This World, and that's at Stage 773. I've already been talking to Brandon, and after he did his last play, How Did That Make You Feel, which I saw and thought was amazing and hilarious, and I made him send me the script so I could read it whenever I wanted to, just because I'm never going to be able to see this show again, but I want to still experience it. We're gonna do a post-mortem on the whole play situation, and just timing and schedules never lined up, but we're planning to do that again after he's done with these shows, which I'm hoping to get to see, but the way my schedule is kind of lining up, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to, which is going to be a huge bummer because I really want to support him, and his last show was hilarious and great, so I can only imagine this one will be equally so. So you should go support him in my place, just in case I can't get there. So it's at Stage 773 in Chicago. It's called Out of This World. It's him and some of his other compatriots, I guess. I don't know what their relationship is. Working partners. Putting on these shows, so be sure to go check them out, and I'm sure it'll be awesome. And hopefully I'll be able to get there too. And then after that, we're going to do some wrap-up, talk about the process. Now that I have my little phone hookup, even if our schedules don't line up, we can set something up over the phone. So one way or another, we're going to get that done. But yeah, what's been going on? So I got a bunch of new scripts. I've been trying to kind of dig through and figure out what scripts I'm going to be covering. As I said, the next two are going to be Iron Man and Jurassic World, or Jurassic Park 4, which I'm really excited to read that Jurassic Park script because that has always sounded fucking bonkers to me. So I want to hear what that's all about. In case you don't know, that's the one with the dinosaur human hybrids that I believe wield machine guns. So gonna check that out. I have some other scripts. I have one in mind for October. There's a movie coming out in October that I have a related script for. If you do a little digging, I'm sure you can figure out what that is. So, in between there, I'm going to, just kind of sort through what I have. I've mostly been doing a lot of comic book stuff. I'd like to mix it up and get some more variety in there. So I'm going to be going through my list to see what I got. But, as I said, I've been working on some ideas for some exclusive content. I do have another movie pitch episode that I want to record here because I found a movie story idea that I wrote like 2 years ago for a Twisted Metal movie that I think is actually pretty fucking cool. So I'm going to get that all together, get my thoughts together on that, and kind of like give you my pitch the same way I did a while back with my Black Widow movie pitch idea, but this one's going to be a lot more in depth. Like that was just kind of like a rough draft of what one of those episodes could look like. This one, I actually have like a pretty in-depth like outline for this that I wrote like 2 years ago. So that I'm going to have coming up here. And then I got some ideas for some commentary tracks that I want to do. So one thing I really want to do, because with Star Wars kind of prevalent in all of our society now, Solo just came out and I haven't seen it. I had all the major spoilers told to me just because I like a lot of people, I wasn't super interested in Solo. So I was kind of like, yeah, go ahead, spoil it for me. But I still want to see the movie. It's Star Wars. I have to see it. I have some friends that like it. I have some friends that hate it. I have some friends that are somewhere in between. Obviously, the narrative for that movie is what it is at the moment, but as of this recording, I have not seen the movie yet. The only movie I've even managed to see in theaters this year is Avengers, so I'm really trying to get some movies in. Hereditary is out right now, and I just want to point people towards that movie because it looks amazing. It's reviewing through the fucking roof, but go see Hereditary if it's not out. And from what I understand, be warned, it is a very visceral and crazy horror film that friend Adam Condra, who was on the podcast for the Avengers review, he even warned me, like, be prepared for this kind of movie. Just kind of know what you're getting into. And without spoilers, I guess that I'm going to assume, like, expect like the worst kind of body horror that you can experience. I am not sure, but I hear this movie is incredible. It's the movie I want to see the most this year currently. So, there's that. Honestly, all of my like most anticipated movies for the year are horror films. The Halloween trailer just came out, and part of me is like, oh, it looks like another Halloween movie, and this is actually supposed to be the direct sequel to the original movie. Like, ignore Halloween's 2 through whatever. This is the real sequel, and I think that's a cool angle to take, but it looks really good. Like I said, it's like, oh, it looks like another one of those, but it's like, honestly, what do you do with like a sequel to a slasher movie? But you make a really good one, and this one looks really good, really interesting. I'm very excited for that. I don't... Like, there's the obvious movies to be excited for this year, but honestly, there's like a lot of good horror movies coming out this year. I really want to see that Slender Man movie, even though I think it looks really bad. but being what it is, I'm very interested in it. So me and a friend on Twitter have been joking about doing like a triple bill of like man themed horror movies. I think we fell on like Slender Man, not the Tall Man, that was one we cast out, but there was 2 others. I'll have to dig them out, but I might actually do that, do like a triple bill like review of like man themed horror movies, or horror movies with man in the title. So that's kind of some stuff I'm working on. I've been thinking about doing a lot more commentary track stuff. I'm actually working on doing like a separate, not like a separate podcast, but a separate thing for that. Like every now and then a commentary track might pop up on this main feed, but I'm looking into a different place to put those so that people might actually have to go seek them out. So that's one thing I am working on, because that if I do it, it's going to be a very extensive experience. One thing I do think I want to do is I want to take a really in-depth look at Star Wars The Last Jedi, and if I do that, that'll probably show up on this feed and with the other commentary tracks and stuff, because basically it would be a commentary track, but it would be a really in-depth analysis of like, let's look at the writing of this movie, like the plot, the story, and like just really dissect it, because I am kind of fucking sick and tired of people hating on the movie, people fucking arguing about it over and over again, and I just want to get into it and be like, look, this is my opinion, this is how I think it is, and just kind of really give it a solid fucking look. But it's gonna take some preparation. I'm gonna have to watch the movies a couple times and really kind of do some reading and research and find out where I stand on it, and what works and what doesn't. But like I said, that'll probably be on both feeds. So like during this off time, I have been kind of doing some stuff. I've been working on a lot of my own writing. I sometimes when I have like I'll come up with like a log line, which a log line is that little description of a movie that you would see on like the IMDb, just kind of the little 1-2 sentence paragraph about here's the plot of the movie. And so every now and then I'll come up with a log line that sounds really cool, sounds really interesting, but I don't really have an idea for it, and I'll just throw it up on Facebook. So I did that with this log line I had, and friend and former guest of the show, Jeff Stolhand, he actually was like, oh, I kind of like this idea, and that led to us kind of pitching ideas back and forth, and that has now led to I am 25 pages into the script, and I have like a full outline, which I've never really been much of an outliner, but this I've found that outlining is actually very fucking useful. So I have a full outline, a full plot. I'm ready to fucking go on this one, and I'm kind of just plowing through it so far. It's been like 2 weeks, and I'm on like 25 solid pages. So just like writing on my break at work, writing a little bit when I get home, kind of like going by the rule of thumb of 2 pages a day, but getting out as much as I can whenever I sit down to write. But for me, it's like 2 pages, and I feel accomplished for that day. But it's been going really well. So that's kind of what I've been using this spare time for, just to get some of that stuff down, So yeah, it hasn't been a completely wasted time off. But yeah, I guess that's really it. I just wanted to let everyone know, like, hey, I'm still here. Hey, there's a lot of stuff in the works. I haven't abandoned the podcast. I do want to thank everybody who has been listening and downloading. Like, even though I haven't been posting episodes, my downloads have still been pretty steady, and that's really cool. Usually I just see a huge drop off until I post another episode, but I don't know if just more people are checking out the show, or people are re-downloading episodes or something, but I just want to thank everybody who's been sticking with it and has been patient for the next episode, which I promise is coming soon. The next one will be Iron Man, followed by Jurassic Park 4, and then we'll see where it goes from there. I got some stuff that I need to sort through. But so I just want to thank everybody. Be sure to follow me on the social medias, at Shelved Podcast on Instagram and Twitter. You can email the show at shelvedfilmpodcast@gmail.com. Be sure to check out Brandon Prosik's Play and the Screenplay Archaeology Podcast and all the other podcasts that I usually pimp out at the beginning of the show. But yeah, just thanks for being patient, and I will see you soon for the next episode.